It has just been announced that a brand new Dragon Ball Super film is in development, and as such, fans have been quick to theorize where the franchise will go next. We're gonna go ahead and throw our hat in the ring too, since we've got 10 possible directions that the next film could take things. Without further ado, let's take a look at some potential Dragon Ball Super movie plots. Cooler or others? First off, let's look at what's arguably the most likely scenario for a new Dragon Ball Super movie: another reboot. Specifically, we're talking about the concept of taking another villain from the Dragon Ball films and making them canon with a revamped story. We believe this is the most likely scenario, since that's what they did with the last film, and when an approach goes well, it's a pretty safe investment to try it again. In other words, since Broly worked so well, the next Dragon Ball movie will likely feature another rebooted villain, perhaps even Frieza's brother Cooler. In fact, Cooler would be the best choice for the next film, since Frieza's still in the picture as a threat to Earth. So having his brother in there would definitely spice things up, be it as a villain or as a hero, one who defected from his family to fight against their evil intergalactic empire. Galactic Patrol Prisoner Arc. Next up, we have another likely route that the next Dragon Ball movie will take, an adaptation of the Galactic Patrol Prisoner Arc. For those who haven't been reading the Dragon Ball Super manga, the story has continued beyond the series with its original arc. The story's about Moro, an ancient evil warrior who is imprisoned by the Kai for his planet-devouring crimes. Sounds pretty badass, right? The saga's been pretty well received thus far, so it makes sense for it to be the plot of the next film, especially since the manga includes Broly in the story before this saga and nothing else. Meaning the anime more or less has to adapt the Galactic Patrol Prisoner Saga. It'd be pretty great if it did too, since it'd really help to expand the Dragon Ball lore in a big and awesome way. The only issue that the upcoming Dragon Ball Super film would run into by adapting the story of Moro is that things might be a bit rushed and condensed, seeing as the story has been unfolding gradually in manga chapters and a film would require a much faster-paced plot. Return of the Red Ribbon Army. This next one is far less likely than our first two options, so we're not gonna outright say that it'll definitely happen, we just think it would be cool if the Red Ribbon Army came back in some way. The Red Ribbon Army saga was a rather small arc, but it set up a lot of good story potential, some of which was fulfilled by the Android saga, which presented Androids 16 through 20, all of which were built with the purpose of getting revenge on Goku for his destruction of the army. Some might say that the Android saga fully brought the story of the Red Ribbon Army to a close, but we're not so sure. For one thing, it was sort of hijacked by Cell's story, and for another, it wouldn't be all that far-fetched to think that the army has been slowly and secretly building up their forces in order to come back stronger, better, and more capable of dominating the world. Fighter Z Adaptation. Speaking of androids, if the next Dragon Ball movie doesn't go the full revival of the Red Ribbon Army route, there's still a way to bring the androids of the franchise back into the spotlight through an adaptation of the Dragon Ball Fighter Z story mode. The story gave importance to Android 16, 17, and 18 while also introducing Android 21 into the mix. While some things might have to be switched around, streamlined, and reconfigured, there's a lot of great potential in the plot of the game, especially when it comes to how the androids interacted with each other. Specifically, having Android 21 act as the catalyst for Android 17 and 18 to work together once again, while also bringing back Android 16 sounds like a whole lot of fun. Heck, even if the next Dragon Ball movie doesn't want to go the androids route, there's still plenty of story potential in the part of Fighter Z's story that resurrected the series' greatest villains. Frieza's Return. At the end of the Universal Survival Saga, the very last story arc of Dragon Ball Super, Frieza was fully resurrected for a second time, allowing him to command his massive universe-conquering army once more. Frieza's return and the threat to the universe it brought was made apparent in Broly, which featured the villain as a secondary character. Although Frieza didn't actually do all that much in Broly, he made it pretty clear that he was going to be back for Earth and the Saiyans on it at some point in the near future. If the next movie doesn't go in more likely directions like the Galactic Prisoner Patrol Saga, then it'll probably be about Frieza's return again, which we think would make for a pretty good plot. There are a number of ways Frieza's return could go. He could seek to destroy the Earth, he could seek to enslave it, or he could just come to fight and kill Goku and Vegeta for being the thorn in his and his empire's sides for so dang long. Regardless of how it goes, it would be a smart and fun choice for the upcoming Dragon Ball Super movie to feature Frieza's return, especially if he seeks out Broly's power again like he implied that he would. Although it would probably be in his best interest if he didn't. Broly didn't seem too happy with him. A threat to the multiverse. Frieza's return also presents the opportunity for a follow-up of sorts to the Universal Survival Saga. How so? Well, a strong plot idea for the next Dragon Ball Super film would be to bring the multiverse together once again for some kind of force that threatens all of their universes. And Frieza could be that force. Think about it. Frieza's always looking for ways to expand his empire, always hungry for more power, and after learning that there are other universes out there, there's no way he didn't develop a desire to take over the entire multiverse. This would make for an awesome movie. It could start with Frieza finding a way to cross between universes and then using his army to take over as many of them as he can, leading all the warriors of the Tournament of Power to come together and fight back against the common threat. During all of this, perhaps the warriors would come to respect Goku after hating him for triggering the Tournament of Power. But even if this doesn't happen, there's still a whole lot of cool things that could occur in a multiverse-spanning Dragon Ball film. Heck, Frieza doesn't even need to be the villain, as just the setup alone would be badass. Ultra Instinct Mastered. This one isn't so much an entire plot, just something that could develop within any one of these story options. After all, Ultra Instinct was the highlight of the Universal Survival Saga, so it would be disappointing to see it disappear from the franchise after only one use. We think that no matter what the plot of the new Dragon Ball Super turns out to be, Goku's journey throughout the film should focus on his mastery of Ultra Instinct, since it's the ultimate form for a character so obsessed with martial arts. This is especially true when you look at the explanation of Ultra Instinct from the Dragon Ball Super manga, which depicts it as the peak culmination of the study of martial arts. It's not even a transformation, it's just being really good at martial arts. If Goku's opponent in the upcoming film is too difficult for him to defeat, perhaps Ultra Instinct will be how he finally wins in the end. This would work especially well if the villain of the film is someone who can read thoughts and thus see Goku's attacks before they happen, meaning moving autonomously via Ultra Instinct would be the only key to victory. You can't read thoughts if they don't actually exist. These are just a few suggestions, but any way you look at it, the next Dragon Ball film should include a focus on Ultra Instinct. Focus. Broly returns. Among the many options that the next Dragon Ball Super film has in terms of plot, there's one option we've yet to cover: a Broly sequel. Yes, any movie after Broly would be a sequel, but there's also a high probability that the next installment of the franchise will just pick up where the last one left off. Dragon Ball Super Broly left us with quite a few story threads that could easily stack up to make for an entirely new film. Yes, it probably wouldn't be as action-heavy, but it would still be pretty great to see Goku fulfill his promise of training Broly, see Frieza return to use Broly as a weapon, or watch Broly and Chile's relationship develop. Even if these plot elements aren't used in the next Dragon Ball movie, there's still plenty of story potential, especially if they bring him back to Earth for the purpose of setting up a life for him and his friends there. His story and personality are something of a combination of Goku and Vegeta's stories, so watching him develop a life on Earth would make for an interesting subplot for whatever main conflict a Dragon Ball Super Broly sequel might bring. Goku and Friends revealed. For most of Dragon Ball, Goku and his superhuman fighter friends had no problem showing their abilities in public. In fact, Goku and Krillin were pretty lax about using all of their power against each other in the World Martial Arts Tournament. The King Piccolo and Piccolo Jr. sagas showing even further that the world knew about superhuman martial artists. Yet, come the time of Dragon Ball Z, strong efforts were made by Goku and friends to keep their lives and powers a secret, be it by wishing people back to life, erasing memories with wishes, or holding back their power in public situations. Additionally, they allow Mr. Satan to maintain his false world savior status as a means of drawing attention away from them. While we won't question the desire for secrecy, since it lets them live their own lives in peace, we can't deny that we want to see what would happen if this secret suddenly ended. This storyline might not be worthy of being the central plot of a movie, but it would make for a great subplot or secondary conflict that Goku and his friends have to deal with as they fight a larger threat, especially if Mr. Satan's revealed to be a fraud in a comedic way. Oob. Last and certainly not least, we think that bringing Oob into the picture would make for a good storyline in the next Dragon Ball Super movie. For those who don't remember, Oob is the uber-powerful reincarnation of Kid Buu. Goku sought Oob out and fought him in the World Martial Arts Tournament of Dragon Ball Z's epilogue. He wanted to face off against Oob to see the power within him, eventually promising to train him, taking off to do so at the end of the series. Although we don't know if this epilogue is still canon, we think Oob playing a significant role in the next Dragon Ball movie would work out really well. If the story of the epilogue and its place in the canon is being tossed out, then this new version of Oob could just be discovering the power within him. And in a Deadpool 2-like plot, he could be at risk of becoming a villain, only for Goku and friends to save him and help him control his power and use it for good. Of course, this is just an idea, but the point still stands that Oob should make a comeback, especially after being featured in the Dragon Ball Super manga. And those are just some of our ideas for what the plot of the next Dragon Ball movie could be. What do you think? Do you like these ideas? Do you have a few of your own? Let us know down in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to CBR for more Dragon Ball videos. Hey, thanks for watching.